The taps of thousands of residents in Cape Town will remain dry for the next few days as teams from the city of Cape Town work to replace 5 valves on the Cape Flats water pipeline. The municipality says the infrastructure upgrades are necessary in order to provide top-tier services to communities and to reduce leaks and water wastage. Joining us now to discuss this is the City of Cape Town's MMC for Water and Sanitation, Dr. Zahid Badroodien. Dr. Badroodien, thank you so much for your time. Let's talk then about the work you are embarking on and what necessitates a 3-day shutdown, I believe it is. So just give us a sense of the scale of the network you will be covering.
So the city's water supply network is almost 10,000 kilometers in length. And in this instance, we're undertaking a project whereby we are replacing 7 valves in total. We've already replaced 2, and so the remaining 5 valves will be replaced from today up until Wednesday. And the reason why the valves, or rather it's planned for 3 days, is because these aren't the ordinary 300 millimeter and smaller pipes that are being refitted with new valves. These are major valves, almost 1 meter in diameter, which is wide enough for a normal-sized person to crawl through. And so there are a number of these that are at various stages of age that have unfortunately got stuck, as mechanical elements do, get stuck in certain positions. And so now we've got to remove and replace these valves. The total project comes to a value of about 2 million rand. And it's our anticipation that it will take about 3 days to replace, but keeping fingers crossed that hopefully we can shave 1 day off of those 3 days, considering the very good progress that we've made just today in the removal of some of those valves and making the area safe for our colleagues to work in.
And I do appreciate the magnitude of the work, but just given the sheer number of communities, we understand anything between 22 and 28 areas that you'll be covering. I mean, could this not have been done in phases, maybe, you know, especially given the challenges already faced by some communities in terms of drinking water?
Doing this particular replacement in phases would mean that there would be a number of instances where residents would be without water, number of days where they'd be without water if we replace 1 valve and then another one. And so a technical decision was taken whereby all valves would be replaced all at the same time so that we could reduce that inconvenience as far as possible to our residents. It just made the most engineering sense for us, considering that these proactive maintenance programs is not anything new to us here in the city of Cape Town. We undertake this every single week, and because of the impact, 22 wards or 22 communities, as you've mentioned, 11 wards in total, we also at the same time have the necessary remedial measures to make sure we can reduce the inconvenience to our residents at this moment as those valves are being replaced.
So just talk to us about, if you have any other planned bulk water supply network maintenance coming up. I mean, how long, for instance, will it take after this one? Would we likely see another, maintenance of this magnitude? I mean, you're replacing, as you say, these 7 pipes.
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, we had another 75-hour shutdown. 2 years later, we're repeating that on a different part of the network. As I mentioned, the network is about 10,000 kilometers long, just the water network alone. So that doesn't mean that this is the end of our rehabilitation. There are thousands, hundreds, if not valves that need to be replaced. And so our engineers, our water and sanitation team members will indicate what work is priority for us to undertake. But again, I must say that this kind of proactive maintenance is exactly part of what the city is undertaking, especially if we consider the pipe replacement program alone, which has a value of about 860 million rand attached to that, where we are replacing water and sewer pipes across our city almost on a daily basis in order to catch up with the replacement of our old and aged infrastructure, as well as to invest in expanding our existing network, noting the fact that we are a growing city and every day welcoming new residents into our metro.
So today is day one. Can you give us some form of an assessment in terms of, how everyone is doing, particularly in as far as water tankers? We did understand from one of our reporters that, it was problematic for some people who could not reach some of those water tankers.
So, as I mentioned, 22 areas affected. These are 11 wards in total. We have 11 tankers for each of those wards. The councillors have identified where these tankers need to be located specifically, and so we'll be roughly servicing about 33 communities over the next 3 days. In addition to that, our friends at Peninsula Beverages have allowed us the use of 2 of their 33,000 litre water tankers, which will be instrumental in the refilling exercise of our tankers in order to reduce the turnaround times. And absolutely, I want to acknowledge that in some instances, the elderly may be impacted. In the lead up to the operation today, our message was clear. Residents must save sufficient water that will last them hopefully over the 3 days or at least into day 2. And as a community, we must come together to support each other. But should that not have been possible for some of our elderly or ECD centres, the 2 major facilities that are requesting assistance at the moment, the Peninsula Beverages have also donated about 4,800 1-litre bottled water that our councillors are donating to the elderly community as well as to vulnerable facilities. So there is a mechanism to protect them, and I want to encourage those residents to reach out to those councillors so that we can come to your home and make those water donations where that support is needed.